So, today we are reviewing something new, and it is a brand that I've never tried before, so I thought I would try it. And when I bought this, I thought that I was buying coffee grounds. Today it's Mississippi Mud Coffee. Sumatra, medium roast, organic, whole bean, 10 ounce. See, I didn't read that far when I ordered it on Amazon. I didn't get to that part. But it ended up being the coffee beans instead of the coffee grounds, which I didn't mind when I had it and or when I received it. And I didn't remember that I had a coffee grinder. I thought, do I have a coffee grinder? And then for a brief moment I had this anxiety and this fear, and I said to myself, I left the coffee grinder, or I gave the coffee grinder to somebody else, right? Which actually happened. I had a coffee grinder that I left at someone's house. I basically gave them the coffee grinder, and I thought that was the coffee grinder that I had given to them. But it wasn't, because this one was in the cabinet, thankfully. So you could probably imagine the joy that I felt, the feelings of just being fulfilled. There's a void that is filled when you realize that you do have a coffee grinder and you thought you didn't. And then it was okay that you made the mistake of getting the beans instead of the coffee grounds. So it wasn't a mistake. It was all meant to be. The universe had brought everything together to this point, right? Like it always does. So we're going to grind these beans up and make this coffee. I'm going to plug it in, of course, right? Plug it in. I've never done any of this with one hand, so it's going to be a challenge. Put this up. You got some leftover coffee grounds from all the other times. Well, not all the other times. I actually cleaned it out recently. It was getting kind of clogged up, ridiculous. So there you've got the beans. From the deep, dark depths of the Mylar bag, you have the coffee beans, ready to be pulverized and ground up. And I like to put just about that much. I'll put a little bit more. Kind of cover the bottom, cover the blade up. And that ends up being just enough for 1 cup of coffee. Well, I don't know exactly the exact measurements. I don't know if this is considered a cup or if this is 2 cups. It's probably 2 cups if you're baking, right? It's probably the equivalent of 2 cups. And I've got my Star Wars The Force Awakens cup, because I enjoyed the new Star Wars films. I don't know about anybody else. There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of criticisms and negative things being said. I just think people like to be miserable. I went to the theater with none of that stuff in my head, and I had a great time watching all 3 films. How about that? How about that, you miserable pricks out there? So now we're going to grind these beans up. So it should be a nice fine powder. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I could just spend an afternoon hiking these little hills here that have been created. These little fine dusty hills of coffee grounds that are created. I could shrink myself down and spend an afternoon just hiking through them. Or probably sinking through them. It'd probably be more like quicksand, right? So now we were going to get a coffee filter, and place it into the machine. So I use these very cheap coffee filters right here. Show you the package. I don't know what that says, Melita, something like that. Filtros de café. Filtros de café. And there was 600 of them in here. And it looks like they serve, I'm looking at the Spanish side, right? Fits most 8 to 12 cup coffee makers. 600 of those. I remember it was very cheap. So, that's a cool thing. It's a good thing to be economic. And so, put this in the coffee machine. Coffee maker. Get it in there nice and snug. Right? And then this thing, try to do this with one hand again. Got little grounds of coffee all over the place. Usually makes a mess whenever I take the lid off. See if I can take this off with one hand here. Twists here. Should come out. There it is. Comes out like a little cup. It has a little thing to pour. I like to take that off to get all of the grounds that I could possibly get out, so nothing goes to waste. This one's a little more difficult to take off with one hand. But where there is a will, there is a way. See, it's got some grounds stuck to it. You'll never get all of them. Never do. And we pour it into the coffee maker. This thing will get some of the extra coffee grounds. Pour those in there. And then we add the most important ingredient in the universe. Water. Like to fill a styrofoam cup full of water. Try to get most of it in the coffee pot. That gets it to be about 4 cups. I usually put more water in so that it'll reach up to the 4 cup level. And then we're ready to make coffee. So close the lid and we press the button. And sometimes this pot is on here crooked and the coffee goes outside of the top and all over the counter. It finds its way out. So we have the rare occasion of watching coffee brew. It's just splashing into little drops down at the bottom. I'm seeing lots of fibers of dust all over my old coffee pot. So, as we watch the coffee brew, we take in some deep breaths and we think of something to talk about, something to think about, something to do while we wait for the coffee, right? Which will probably take about 5 minutes. I think. It usually takes about 5 minutes. My mind is blank. I'm trying to think of something to talk about. But really, I just want to drink this coffee because I'm waking up. It takes me a really long time to wake up. I don't know about you. It takes me forever to wake up. It takes me days to wake up. I get out of bed on Monday and I'm thinking, I'll be okay, I'll just drink some coffee, I'll get up, I'll move around. I do all of that. I go on a hike, I go work out, I go swimming, I do all kinds of stuff. I don't wake up until Thursday. It's usually about Thursday and then I wake up. By then it's too late, everything's already over with. You know, everybody has already done all of the hard work of the week. They got over the hump. It's Thursday, Thirsty Thursday, they're already drunk, they don't want to do anything. It's over, you know. So I need to figure out a way to wake up earlier. Maybe wake up on a Tuesday. I have to figure out a way for the waking up to take less time. You know, I would like to get a good night's sleep and wake up every day. That would be ideal, to wake up every day. That would be awesome. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I drink coffee. I drink coffee also to fill the void of time. Because I can sit and contemplate and drink the coffee and wake up. And sometimes I feel like I'm using the coffee to avoid doing work or doing something or, you know, being creative or whatever it is. Now you can hear the coffee brewing. It's in its final stage. It's given it all it's got. It's brewing everything that it has. All the water left in it. It's coming to a close. These are the last droplets. You see the mesmerizing red light here. I could stare at this forever. This red light is like the core of a planet, or maybe a dying star. Maybe this is what our sun will look like when it's on its last leg and there's no more coffee left to wake it up. And now it's time to drink a cup of coffee. You know, let's just do away with everything else and go to the coffee, right? So we got the Star Wars, The Force Awakens cup, which I really love the movie. I love all the characters. I don't have a problem with any of them. The story, the only thing I have a problem with is probably the story of Star Wars. Some of it probably could have been better. But the acting and the execution, the production of the films, I loved it. I had a great time. And I'm going to have a great time drinking this coffee. And you're going to have a great time watching me drink this coffee. You're going to have a great time watching me pour the coffee. You know, and I like to leave some space in the cup because I realize if I fill it all the way to the top, it gets cold. It gets cold and then I have to throw it in the microwave or add more coffee to it, right? And So I put enough water in here that I could probably have 1.5 of these cups right here. It's pretty good. I didn't make it too dark. It's black coffee. It is black coffee. This is the Mississippi Mud Sumatra medium roast. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. What coffee will I review next?